you could have been the one stepping on one of the landmines or the
So
grenades.
I grew up saying, I have to remind my daughter and other members of, friends or family of hey, some people grew up saying, I want this for Christmas, I want this for my birthday. Me, I'm like, God, let me grow up and make it out of this place, alive. So when you have that thirst for life, when you get that opportunity, it's probably the reason I am so passionate about, helping others. And it's my second nature. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't even think about it. Like, people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's weird for me, for someone to ask me, why you're helping me? Or why do you want to help this person when you don't even know them? It's my second nature. Right. Because I came from nothing. So I have a deeper sense of passion for want that. And women from where we came from my culture, whether it's the Middle Eastern or Pakistani or Iranian or whatever, we were raised in a shape where we were heard but not seen. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you're not important. So for me to come up and elevate, I came to the United States on vacation and decided not to leave.
And then you stayed. Permanent vacation.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was, undocumented for a couple of years. Well, I mean, with a visiting visa. But then when that expired, I was, expired. But then I met someone and got married and, got documented. And I've never filed for unemployment. I've been in the U.S. since December '89, and the only time I was forced to file unemployment is during COVID. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that goes a lot for somebody like me that's a foreigner that came to the U.S. and, with a broken English and a broken spirit. But, I have to remind myself that the God that lives in me and the spirit that lives in me is greater than the one that's trying to take over me. And absolutely. If me as a foreigner can come to a country with a few dollars in my pocket and don't speak the language that much and really live the American dream. You know what I mean? Like, literally live the American dream.
So how did you do it? Starting off, what was the first thing that you got into to transition? Because you had that mind frame and you had hard work. What was it that, well, first of all, how was the culture here when you first got here? Did you like it? And then what did you do to start the process to start building the empire that you have now?
I grew up, funny story. I grew up watching Starsky and Hutch. I didn't understand what they were saying, but that was my favorite show. My second one was the Knight Rider. I'd always say, I'm going to go make it to America, and I'm going to live in America. And I'm going to live the American dream. And one day I'm going to have me a kid. And God behold, I drive a Tesla. That's my kid.
I was thinking about that. Like, it is,
I thought you were going to say a puppy.
No. He used to call the Night Rider. He used to call the car a kid.
Oh, wow.
I actually have the box set.
Look at him.
In film, I do film studies, but I have the whole box set of Knight Rider.
It literally was one of my favorite shows, and I would always say, one day I'm going to have me a car that's just like Kit. I'm going to tell it to come here, and it will come here. So I got close to it. I just still press a button, and the Tesla will come to me.
Actually, I just heard about the Teslas. It's on your phone, right?
Yeah.
And you can start it from your phone. Yes. You can pop the trunk, everything.
Absolutely.
I can tell to come meet me at the entrance door. I can press the button.
It can do that?
Follow me.
Because it drives itself. That's crazy.
But to answer your question, it wasn't easy. Nothing is easy anywhere, and especially in a foreign country for a foreign person like me. You know what I mean? Some people are welcoming you, and others look down at you. And I'm sure other culture like yourself that deal with that same challenges of not being what they consider the ideal American. But who is the ideal American?
It's a melting pot.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right.
All these people that claim, hell, they took Columbus Day away because he was lying. So I have to get in. I had to get in my hustle mentality and realize I dreamed about this, and God blessed me with being able to be here, which is no longer a dream. It's a reality. You know. So now I want to live my reality. What do I need to do? It was challenging because I remember applying for a job, and you know, one, I didn't have a green card, and I told them I was engaged and to be married. You know, my papers are on the way, and the guy said, "Okay, well, I'll hire you, and you know, it's $4.25 an hour because that was the minimum wage at that time, back in 1990 at that point." And I started laughing. I was like, "Are you pulling my leg?" He's like, "No, this is the minimum wage." I was like, so the key is when you want to achieve something is not to have the entitlement mentality, which unfortunately a lot of people in this country do have that. You know what I mean? Whether they American or African American or Asian American or whatever American, Middle Eastern American, all of them, you know. But then you hear people complain about other cultures. They succeeding because they support each other. You see Mexican family, 4 or 5 families living in one household. The same with Asian family. But then you see a different culture complaining about that. Well, why are you complaining about it when they living their life? They supporting each other. That's what you're supposed to do. And you're supposed to remove the entitlement part of it and not have a chip on your shoulder that you feel you are too good to do this. I couldn't sit here and feel like I'm too good to do work at this Rocky Mountain chocolate factory and get $4.25 an hour. So I had to go,
I
it's
have
$4.25 an hour. That's $4.25. So let me see. Would I rather 0 or would I rather $4.25?
Right, exactly, yeah.
I'm going to take the $4.25. Okay, how am I get to walk? I'll walk to work. So I walked. And then one day, a person that actually walked me down the aisle. So you do meet good people. I was almost practically homeless at Long Beach Mall with my suitcases. And oddly enough, and this person is like my brother, but I was walking down Lakeshore where the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory is, and this person mistook me for someone else, thought I was someone else. You know, they start talking, "Hey, we just got here. If you ever need, you know, a friend or whatever, here's my number." Took the number, threw it in the bag. 6 months later, my girlfriend that I was staying with, which is, you know, a good friend of mine from Australia, we came together. It was her friend's house that we were staying at. She got upset and asked them to over something, you know, wasn't that important. But needless to say, I was asked to leave. They dropped me off at Long Beach Mall with my suitcases. I'm sitting there crying, waiting for this other girl that works there to come, and I'm scrabbling in my purse for a piece of tissue to blow my nose, and God behold,
the card.
The card.
Oh wow.
It was a piece of paper. It wasn't even a card. That's why they say, you know, if you ever read the book The Alchemist and all that, how sometimes people crush your past. You could be walking in the airport with thousands of people around, and your eyes make a connection with somebody. You don't talk. You might greet it. I mean, you might not say nothing. And later on, you're buying a car, or this person is a boss, or you're marrying his daughter, or whatever the situation is.
The connection is there.
And so I feel like I come across the number, I call, you know, the number, and I remember he said if I ever needed a friend, and that's what I needed at that point. And so I called the number, and I still, like, moments that are detrimental in your life, you remember things that it's for eternity. I still remember this person's voicemail. I called the voicemail, and I remember later saying, "God, what am I getting myself into?" It said, "This is Rockin' Freddie, always ready. Wait for the beep and you know what to do." And I'm like, but I did anyway. I was like, "Hey, this is XYZ, the person that you thought. This is Iman, the person you thought it was caring. Can you please? You said if I ever needed a friend, I am desperately needing a friend." So a good person that God put in my life ahead of time because he knew
what was coming.
That person, you know, allowed me to stay with them. Didn't charge me anything, you know. It was very simple. Hey, there's this studio. I sleep on the bed. You sleep on that little couch with a little footrest. But when I'm not at home, you can have the bed. You know what I mean? But I was grateful.
Right.
Then when I got that job, and I was walking, you know, to work for a couple of weeks, and one day, you know, I'm at home, and he's like, hey, he comes at me, come on out. I'm like, I said, oh, Freddie, I just walked home from work. My feet are killing me. You know, what's going on? He goes, come outside. I'm like, oh, do I have to? It's cold. My feet are hurting. I said, come outside. I got something for you. I went outside, and this man had bought me a bike.
Oh, wow.
So I can ride to work. So
Nice.
to some people, it's nothing. But to me, it was the world.
Right.
You know, this person already opened his house. He just bought me this $60 bike, but it was $1 million thing for me. You know what I mean? And this is the first time I actually speak about it and not get emotional, because that person was such a like powerful time in my life. Like, he changed my life. And I remember him asking me, have I ever seen the movie Pay It Forward? When you're already a given nature person, it's who you are. But when you watch something and it kind of enhances that. And I remember saying, what is this movie all about? And he's like, I want you to watch it tonight. I watched it. And then I said, how can I repay you back? He said, this is what I want you to do. Pay it forward.
Wow.
I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. I said, I'll already do that anyway. It's just who my nature is. He said, that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to do anything for me. Save your money, get your own place, and pay it forward. And ever since that day, that's all I do. I pay it forward. And when people ask me what they want, what I want them to do, or they say, I'll pay you back, I said, don't pay me back. Just make me a promise that one day, I promise you, one day you're going to come across somebody that's going to need your help. And I just want you to please do for them what I did for you. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Pay it forward.
Yeah.
Now, Freddie thinks he only saved my life. Freddie saved all these people's life.
Wow.
Because of him, because of the way he saved my life, I got to save many people's life, and those people saving many people's life.
Right.
So it's like a trickling of dominoes.
Yeah.
So when I tell him, you know, you did more for me than you'll ever know, I owe you my life.
Right. That was such an amazing story. Like
Yeah.
that was really good. You know, like what would you say other principles and habits people must have in order to be successful or to be able to make it over the detriments that they had in their life?
The hard times, the hard obstacles.
To be, again, like I said, don't have that chip on your shoulder. Be humble and be consistent. You know what I mean? And be grateful, because the opportunities that's given to you, the chances that are brought to your table, they don't have to be there. You know what I mean? Take advantage of what's put on your plate and try. Don't just give up because you failed the first time. And trust me, I'm one of those people where sometimes I want to beat myself because I didn't succeed on this, or because I lost money in this investment, or but thank God I also have good friends in my life that remind me. My business partner always sometimes remind me, sometimes you have to fail many times before you succeed. Mm-hmm. In relationships, I tell my friends, I just said that to a girlfriend of mine, you have to kiss many frogs before you get to the prince. I gotta remind myself of that, you know what I mean? Because dating in Vegas is I'm sure it's everywhere, but in Vegas it's 10 times worse.
It's rough.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way.
Well, it depends where you go, you know what I mean?
Integrity is very important, because when you have integrity and loyalty and consistency, people are more receptive to want to help you or want to assist you in elevating or reaching your dreams or making things happen for you and with you.
Right.
But if you're dishonest, disloyal, disrespectful, don't have value for the opportunity or the things that are given to you, then
you'll have short success. It won't last.
You're
It won't
gonna keep on
sustain
failing.
you.
You're gonna stay where you are.
So what was the first entrepreneurial venture that you did once you got here, and that started this journey for you and you started building upon that? What was that first thing?
Well, my entrepreneur thing started in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I was working, and I was working actually 4 jobs that I became. Then my nickname became the Ghost because I was everywhere.
The Ghost?
Yeah, because they're like, you're like a ghost. You're everywhere. They'll go to the gym. I'm working at the gym. They go to the coffee shop. I'm working at the coffee shop. They go to the nightclub. I'm working at the nightclub.
Yeah.
And then they go to the credit union. I'm working at the credit union. So I'm like, where are you? I'm like, I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
Hey, can I take you out? No, I'm on the mission. I'm trying to buy my first house. So talk to me in about 2.5 years. So that discipline is the other factor. You have
discipline,
Yes.
Consistency, discipline.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to be disciplined. And if you're trying to achieve. It doesn't mean, you give up on life, but you've got to stay focused on the goal that you have ahead. So I just, I was working 4 jobs, and then.
So at that time period, what was your focus? Like at that time period when you're working these jobs, what was your goal? What was your vision?
I wanted to buy my first house so my daughter can have a home. Not just a house or an apartment that she's living in.
Yeah.
I wanted her to have a home, and I wanted that home to be a legacy. I wanted start of that. If something happened to me, she has a home. She has a legacy of something she can carry on. She can take the money out of that house and buy another house. She can take a house and start a business.
Yeah.
I wanted to start the foundation,
and
for my legacy for my daughter.
And what age was this?
My daughter was only 3 years old at that time.
Okay.
She's 31 now.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I'm 57.
Okay.
So I don't know. Do the math.
And then,
I'm
I'm not really good at math. No.
I think I was about 28, 30 years old, give or take.
What gave you that idea and perspective too? Because a lot of times I feel, at least with my peer group, that concept is not even in their head. Like they can't even see building a legacy, starting the foundation or anything. But how did you get that concept and perspective in your head?
Because I came from nothing.
Okay. You
know what I mean? I came from nothing. So when you come from nothing, you want to build. Not everybody. It's a desire and a mentality. I feel like I don't have a college degree. I have a street degree.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. I'm the same way.
I didn't have the time to go get a college degree because I was too busy, hustling 4 or 5 jobs and being a mommy.
Anyways, like college is a hustle anyway, so we talk about
exactly.
that. Talk about that some other day.
And most of the time, what you learn in college, you don't do in the real world.
They put you in
it's theory.
More.
Yeah.
So I just, I'm thankful to God that He gave me a powerful mind. That I didn't need a college degree to succeed. I'm literally, again, the epitome of God's love, grace, and success. Because I don't have a college degree. I've only gone to school 3.5 years out of my entire life. Do the math on that.
Wow.
I'm 57 and I'm only going to school 3.5 years.
Wow.
I didn't get to school when I was in Lebanon. My dad wouldn't let me go to school. I didn't get to go to school till I was almost 13 years old. So I never got to have, the kindergarten and all this and all that. I literally went straight to school to year 8.
Oh, wow.
But I had thank God I had a powerful mind. They put me in year 8. I was doing so good that we're about to transfer me to year 9. They called my family like, hey, she's doing so good. She's already writing poetry.
Wow.
We're going to put her in year 10. Okay, so put me in year 10. And of course, I find out that, my mom lives in Sydney, Australia, and we find out my dad diagnosed with cancer. So now it's time for me to leave Lebanon in a little bit and move to Australia. So I am, I had to leave school. When I got to Australia, I didn't really speak English. And they tried to put me in year 8 again at school. And the school said, we can't put her in because she doesn't speak. She's got to go learn English. So I went to an adult school, where I was the only kid learning how to speak English. Yeah. 6 months later, I went and took the test, and they put me in.
Oh, wow.
Well, the same thing, they called my mom on graduation. They said, have you had your daughter tested? And she's like, what did she do now? Because, middle. And I go, no, she didn't do anything. Have you had her tested? Like, your daughter, are you sure she didn't know English before? Because she's very smart. We're not going to put her in year 9 she's like, what do you mean you're going to put it back again? I'm like, no, we're going to move at year 10. So basically, I skipped year 9 in Australia as well and graduated from year 10. And I ran away from home at the age of 16 and a half, 17. So I've been on my own since then. So to answer what gave you that drive, when you're on your own and as a child,
you had to figure it out fast.
You have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But people can't get the concept of how did you just go to school for 3 years? That's all I needed.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what God felt I only needed. The rest of it, he taught me along the way, and I decided whatever little knowledge I got from school, I can read and write now. Even though it's not perfect, my punctuation sucks. But I was good at writing poetry in my language, and I was good at writing poetry in English, and then I transitioned into writing stuff, and I call them my thoughts for the day, and they like empowerment, things based on either life experience or somebody else's life experience. So it's just something I might have just heard that inspired me to write.
Yeah. So from hearing that, it just seems like you're a very creative person. How much would you say your creativity has influenced your business?
Oh, extremely, because you can't get into a business or be an entrepreneur and not think outside the box.
Right.
It's just not. It's not a square. It's more like a hamster wheel. Hamster wheel. Going, and, like, let's go here. Let me go here. Let me go. But you're still going. You're constantly going to grow. If you're not growing, then you're not doing anything. So you have to keep going and, elevating yourself. And for me, it's like, okay, I started a construction business. My ex-husband had just started it like 8 months before I met him. And then, I got involved in it, but then I took it to a different level.
Was that the first business you started after the 4 jobs and after all working? And then how long did you quit all those jobs and just go full-time entrepreneurship?
I would say a couple of years.
Okay.
Then I started, because he was doing mainly what we call dig jobs, where you can dig the sewer line and take it out. And I had an idea of implementing a service department.
And this is here in the States?
Yes, in the Bay Area.
In the Bay Area, okay.
And he was like, well, this and that. And I was like, no, we can do this. I can get dig jobs through the service jobs. What if I send somebody for a leaking faucet and he finds out it's a clogged up sewer line? Now you got, so I contacted one of the largest, company in the Bay that manages homes and properties, and they became our clients. And I came up with a concept and offering them a sewer line video inspection for free, as long as they give me the first shot at the bid.
Okay, so you have a company that did the dig jobs, right? And then for you to get your first or get more leads and stuff like that, you offer to give them free video inspection?
Yeah, because in the Bay Area, if you're selling a home, by law you have to inspect the sewer line.
Okay. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so sometimes the sewer line is broken or it's got roots in it or whatever. So I wanted to create a service department within the construction department. And that service department is offering, the free inspection. But then that company started calling me for leaking faucet, a broken heater, things that the dig jobs wouldn't have gotten.
Right.
Because it's a service call.
Yeah.
Now I became their main contact. Now I'm replacing all the sewer line. Now when they building new project, we're the one that's installing the manhole, the gas line, the water line, you name it, sewer lines.
Yeah, and these are government accounts and jobs.
We started doing a government account for the Oakland Public Schools. We ventured on a different route. So of course the company grew. Thank God we had ended up with 25 employees and of course me and my ex-husband being up. So it graduated. So then coming to Vegas was more like a semi-retirement.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna move to Vegas. We're still running the construction. I can do from here. And then I stumbled into the event. When people from the construction company, the client, want to come to Vegas, I would always make all the plans.
Yeah.
Not purposely. It was just that's the way it was. Right. And then I'm like, okay, I'll make the plans. And then one day I was like, why am I making all the plans and I'm still contributing to the cost? I should be partying on their dollar now.
Right.
Because I'm making So I stumbled into the event planning as a hobby, and then it took a life of its own. And you know, I started doing event planning, concierge service, you know, and that became a different business, and now that's busy and booming. So it's, you know, I kind of fell into it. I didn't really.
You said yes to the possibilities.
Exactly.
And you're just open to it instead of being just, it's got to be this way. We don't know which way it's going to go.
Yes.
So if you're open to it and say yes to possibilities, it'll take you wherever, and it's taking you this far.
Exactly.
Would you say the event planning, you know, persona and stuff like that elevated your business as well? Like just your other business as well?
I wouldn't say it elevated, but it did support that business sometimes, because being in a construction, sometimes you don't get paid right away. It could be 60, 90 days before you get your check. So at times when we got new jobs and we needed, you know, to start the project, that event planning started funding some of the projects, you know, for that. And then the other part of it, for me, the event planning became, because, you know, after a while, me and my ex got divorced, and he went back and he continued doing the construction. I continued doing the event, but it was through my event planning that I started the being, you know, the real estate investor, basically.
Okay.
So I transitioned. Well, I didn't transition. I just added that. So I still do event concierge, but I also do real estate.
Right.
And I feel like that platform is really what gave me the platform to buy, you know, my real estates that I have right now.
Okay.
And what I'm still pursuing.
Okay. So you started off with the construction, kind of ventured off to the event as a hobby, and then eventually found real estate investing, which is your bread and butter, so to speak, or your main portfolio, right?
Yeah, that's my main portfolio, other than the event planning. And then of course when COVID hit, you know, I taught myself how to day trade.
Oh wow, yeah, absolutely.
Out of boredom, watching CNBC.
See, you know, COVID was actually a blessing, because it was. Yeah, it made people learn some. Well, at least me, learn different skills and stuff like that. So since you know, I just recently got into real estate. So with real estate investing, what would you say the key elements one would need to be very successful at it?
I mean, the thing that we always say, buy low, sell high, or if you're buying, it depends on what your strategy is. You know, you can do the fix and flip. You can do the buy and hold. It just depends on, you know, which market you want. I've only done one fix and flip.
Okay.
I felt like it took too much time, too much money, too much energy, especially when it was out of state. So you don't have boots on the ground. It's kind of risky. Yeah. But if you have a good team, you have boots on the ground that's representing you, you're buying low and, you know, spending a few grand and then fixing it up and selling it can be lucrative, because people are doing it. Yeah. It's just we live in a world right now where there's a lot of shadiness when it comes to that. Yeah. For me, I like to buy and hold most of the time. So I would say definitely pick your niche first.
Have you heard of wholesaling, or do you know what wholesaling is?
Yes, I know about wholesaling, subject to.
Yeah, so what's that? Because I'm always hearing it, and I actually got a deal, and I'm trying to just figure out, you know, how wholesaling works. And is it the same? Is it like because I'm a realtor, so would it make sense for a wholesaler to do business with me to help wholesale their property, or you know what I'm saying, or just I'm just so green to the whole concept of it?
I can't say I'm very knowledgeable with it, but I can tell you what I know about it.
Okay.
And what I know is, you know, that way a person is not really, you're not buying the property and taking that liability and selling it. You kind of just doing a contract.
Right.
It's a paper trail.
Yeah. That's
literally what it is.
Okay.
It's a paper. Hey, like, listen, do you want this? Okay, what if I can sell it, you know, for what you want, but whatever I sell it for it goes for me.
Right.
But I'll find you a buyer, and I might find you a buyer that might allow you to stay in the place for another 90 days. It depends on the reason of the person trying to wholesale. Okay. Some people don't have money to move out, but they need, you know, a fast deal.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, and then it goes in that direction.
Okay.
The deal that you're speaking about, what is it?
Well, so one of my buddies he called me up. He wanted to put an offer on this property, and then when I like writing up the offer and doing more digging, I realized he was essentially wholesaling the property. So he of course he had to come up with an offer lower than the list price what they're asking, and then I was talking to the it's a for sale by owner, so I was talking to the owner, and they were saying that they have the property $50K above list price, owner financed, and then the my client wanted to come in 40 below under cash, and he wanted me to write the offer, but I was in my head I was thinking how can this offer win within that situation. So I was just
Right, because the owner only gets 10 now out of it, because he was 50 over. He wants to do 40 under cash.
yeah.
He's only profiting 10.
No, I mean there was another offer on the table that was 50K owner seller
okay.
finance.
Okay.
And then when I was talking to the owner, because you know you can either get it financed or you can get the lump sum right there. So I was just trying to gauge to see if you know that made sense for the owner,
right.
If you're getting the property below market, so I'll just use the even numbers. If you're getting the property for 300, but it's worth 380, you know, or 400, then you're already in the win right there.
Right.
Even if you're doing it outside the house, or if you do what we call subject to, which is where the owner finance comes in.
Okay.
You know, meaning the owner is giving it to you. You basically like taking over their loan.
Okay.
Well, there's two ways of doing it. The loan stays in the owner's name, and you pay out whatever. Let's say the closing costs, the fees, the real estate, whatever. Let's say the buy-in is 30 grand, hypothetically.
Right.
Then you buy into that. That money, some of it goes to the closing costs and to the real estate fee, and some money goes to the owner as a entry fee. But the owner still has the loan in his name.
Oh, so that's the subject to, right?
Yes,
Okay.
in his name, and you're just paying the mortgage. And there's terms. There's a contract with the terms. And the interest rate is still the same because the owner's interest rate is, let's say, 3%. So you're still paying the mortgage based on that. Now the owner might decide to say, hey, my interest rate is 3%, but I'm gonna subject to you, and the interest rate is 4.5. It's still lower than what the interest rate in the market right now. So you're like, oh, okay, so my mortgage will be, you know, instead of 23, it's gonna be 2,500.
Right.
But you have no risk because the loan is still in the owner. And if you decide you want to go buy another property, it's actually good for you because
It's not.
the deed of that property is under your name, but there is no loan
I see.
under your name
I see.
for that property.
I see.
And some of the owners put like a balloon as, you know, oh, I need you to finance in 10 years, or I need you to finance in 5 years. And some say, I don't need you to finance at all. I'll carry the loan for the life of the loan. You can also do a subject to, especially if it's, I think it's FHA, where you can take over the loan. So if the owner's loan interest rate at 3%, and he's telling you can have the house and you can take over the loan, then you just take over the loan and pay the closing costs. Now the loan is in your name, but you earned that loan under that same interest rate.
Wow. And that is the subject to is, would it be the same as when he says when they say
Owner finance.
Owner finance.
Yes.
Owner will carry.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, why would an owner do that?
Because some people want to, let's say they want to move, you know, or they probably can't afford the place anymore themselves. I just got an offer for a property in Texas like that. Except I felt like the owner was trying to sell the property for higher than what it's worth. And for somebody that's desperate to buy the house, it will work because eventually you'll gain the equity enough in it to do that. And the fact that they find that the loan in his name, because a lender, as you're aware of, is not going to fund a property that's, you know,
Above
above
it is,
what the value market is. So even though it might be only up by 50 grand, that's still 50 grand. But they need to move out of this area, or they can't afford the $3,000 a month anymore. So now they have somebody paying for it. They didn't lose their credit. It's still reporting good credit for them. somebody else is paying the mortgage. They technically, legally, you know, unless the guy if he defaults, then the house goes back to them. So it's still a win-win. They and some of them might say, okay, give me a 90-day to live here, you know, part of the deal,
move out,
or
right.
you know, to move out, or 30 days, or whatever requirement. Some might just say, hey, take over, because they're not in a position to pay the mortgage. They don't want to go through foreclosure. They don't want to lose the equity that they have in there. So you know, they ask for some money up front, which they call it the buy-in money, which is for you to walk into this property. It's kind of like the down payment, except it's, you know, it's to them, it's to the owner.
It's for the house, right?
Yeah,
Right.
the owner and the realtor, the person that's representing the seller.
Right. And then with the wholesale, because I wasn't sure what my client was doing. I didn't know he was wholesaling at the time when I was talking to the seller. That's something that has to be upfront, right? Kind of like, hey, we want to wholesale this deal and get it at a certain amount and then sell it to a cash buyer.
Yeah, and usually people don't let you talk to the owner when they're doing the wholesale till you agree to the wholesale, till you sign some document, because they don't want you to start going talking to the owner and you try to take the deal out of them.
Right.
But since you and your friend know each other, then that's
Yeah.
that. But yes, he definitely should have disclosed, you know, because all he's doing is paper trailing.
Yeah,
He's taking
absolutely.
the property
Yeah.
and selling it to you, and maybe selling it to you for $5,000 more. But he just made $5,000 just doing transfer signatures.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Okay. So would that offer be as strong as the offer that they have on the table if it's all cash? Or because even though it's let me explain that. I mean, because he had mentioned it was cash, he has a cash buyer, but the contract that I'm writing to make the offer is towards him, the contract. So
I'm surprised the owner would want to turn down a cash offer over that, unless the offer that's coming in is higher than the cash offer.
yeah, the offer, the seller will carry offer is above the list price.
Got it.
Yeah. So, but
that becomes a preference of whoever's taking the property.
Okay.
Like if you taking it and he's selling it to you for 400, but you know it's worth 480, you're already moving into that deal with equity. So of
okay.
course it's attractive, because
Okay.
now you can actually take it and sell it for 450, and the next person that gets it is already $30,000 in equity.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that just made the
Yeah.
made it more simple. Just how much is it worth?
Right.
And then see what it is, and then just, you know, subtract and do the numbers. Yeah. And then, so how long have you been doing the real estate investment?
I mean, I started some in the Bay, you know, because being in the construction, sometimes you come across deals.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I considered myself a real estate investor then. I would think I was just buying, I bought, property, my property. And then my husband bought his property. Then we sold ours and moved and bought a property together and fixed it up and lived in it for 2.5 years and decided to put it on the market. And it sold in 45 minutes for 1.1 million or something like that.
Wow.
Some crazy price. But we
in the
bought
Bay,
it for
right?
$675. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then moved here. And then, making the money you making in the Bay Area. Plus I'm making the money here in the events. And buying a property here that costs a fraction of what it is at the Bay Area.
Absolutely. Yeah.
$300,000 homes versus
Mm-hmm.
$500,000 to $1 million,
Right.
then it's no brainer.
Yeah.
But when we hit the 2008, when we hit the bad, got rid of
Economic
everything,
crisis.
and I only kept my primary home, and then in 2019, before COVID hit, I decided I want to buy places close to the stadium because I knew the stadium was coming.
Yeah. Wow.
And I started looking at existing properties and whatever, and then I was like, no. So one day I told my brother, no, I want to look at a new development.
Yeah.
Him, his girlfriend, my friends, they were like, you crazy, why are you looking at new development, you're gonna spend this much money and it's this much more expensive. And I said, don't worry, I got a plan.
Yeah.
That's the part where I say you can't take advice sometimes. I'll use a relationship as a metaphor. And a friend of mine just reminded me of that the other day. That's why I said you can always learn things that you already knew. If I'm talking to John and he's in a bad relationship, bad marriage, bad relationship, whatever it is, and I'm asking him for an advice on a relationship.
I'm gonna
then I'm
get
setting
bad
myself up
advice.
for failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A broken person can't fix you. You know, so it's the same with the real estate. Everybody has an opinion on how you think and should do things, but you have to also have a drive of what or a vision of what you want. So I was like, no, I want a brand new development. I'm like, just watch. So I bought my first two. And then by the time they finished building it, 90 days later, I got the key. I already have $20,000 to $30,000 equity in it by the time they hand me my key.
Right.
2 months later, I got another, $10,000, $15,000 equity in it.
Right.
So the $10,000, $15,000 that I would have saved buying an existing property, I just made it right here, and I got a brand new home that's more modern, that's more appealing to people who want to live in it or buy it or rent it or whatever. Right. And I have no worry about having to fix broken things. Everything's under warranty. And it's in a brand new neighborhood.
Yeah. But when it's new, how did you gain another $20,000 when they hand you the key?
Because in every development, they start with what they call phase one. So phase one, let's say I go into phase one and they sell in this property for $200,000. Once this phase one is built and they sold all the properties in phase one, usually about right before they sell the last handful of properties in phase one, the price already went up.
The value.
Yes, because now they're selling phase two. They can't sell phase two for the same price as phase one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they already raised the price, so that makes your property go up. I mean, I'll give you a scenario.
Buildings.
One time I was at KB Home office. I was signing the lease for this. I was going to buy this other property. And I was not the lease. I was signing the contract to buy this property. And it was for like $290. And while I was sitting like this, there was another desk right behind me. And a guy came in to buy the same exact house on the same exact street 15 minutes after me. And he paid $10,000 more. So what do you think that did to my property?
Made it
value
go up. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So as a realtor and as a real estate investor, would you advise? Well, I don't want to say advise, but would you say a good strategy is investing in new construction, new build homes?
I would say it depends on what you're trying to accomplish and what is feasible for you at that time too, and also what the deal is. So for me, I went and looked from the north to the southeast to the southwest to the Henderson, and when I was looking at hypothetically at a townhouse, the old townhouse that were built back in 2005, 2000, maybe 1990, they were selling for like $240, $250, $260. Right. It just depends on the place, the same square footage. Yeah. And then I'm looking at the brand new development, and they giving me a lower interest rate and more incentive. Right. They're willing to put the appliances with the place. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to pay $20,000 here more, but $25,000, but I'm getting all this. So to me, at that point, it made more sense for me to buy the new development. Yeah. But that doesn't mean, like right now, if I see, I just bought a condo in September. Yeah. It's not in the greatest neighborhood. It's over by like Russell and Swanson and whatever. And but the deal was like, the guy was selling it for like $140K, but it was really the last property that sold there was $165. So I was like, hey, I'll give you cash deal for $140, for $135. Yeah. And he's like, no, it'll be $140. I said, okay, $137. He said, okay. So when I did the $137, then I went in. I said, oh, I need you to give me credit for this, credit for that, credit for this.
This is the new. This is the new build, or
this was an existing. So that's what I'm saying. It depends on the deal and if it makes sense. Yeah. So for me, I'm buying this existing condo already for $25,000 in equity in it. Right. So I'm like, hey, I'll give you this much. He's like, okay, I'll take that much. But then when I went in, I said, I need you to give me credit for the garbage disposal. I need you to give me credit for this. And I need to remove the stove and get a new one. So I need a credit for that. Next thing I know, I got $2,500 in credit.
Right.
So technically, I got back to what number I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, but it made sense. Now I got a renter. I bought it with a renter in it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my $140,000 in the bank was making me $98 a month in interest.
Right.
Now that same 140 is making me $650 a month in my pocket after paying HOA and taxes.
Yeah.
So it made sense to buy an older place, not in a so great area, because it's already bringing me equity.
Right.
And when his lease is up in January, I'm raising the rent, where it's gonna bring me $950 in equity.
Right. Yeah, so it's definitely reworking the numbers and making sure the deal makes sense, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Taking a chance on see what's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not everything that comes on the table is worth it, and not everything that comes on the table is not worth it.
Right.
Like, I don't get stuck in one direction. At that time when I was buying new investment, when I searched the market, it made sense for me to buy a new investment and to spend 15, 20 grand more than to buy something that was old and I might have to deal with fixing stuff.
Right.
And
So,
out of
yes.
warranties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even right now, the market, I'm sure you know that. The interest rate is so high, you know, people are the new developers are having a hard time selling.
Yeah.
Right.
What is
So
what is
they're
the interest
giving
rate?
better incentives.
Interest rate.
Seven?
Kevin Sherba's in the building.
Yeah.
This is
How are you?
this is our mortgage lender
You
right
gotta
here.
give the horn.
I'm sorry I made it a little late.
No.
You the boss, so you can do that.
So yeah. Let's pull up a chair or.
Well, no, we don't need to pull.
Okay.
We're good.
Just pull up this one.
So Kevin heard the real estate chatter. So he
came running.
He was like, they're talking real estate now. It's
my turn.
Time for me to get in there.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
So you asked for interest rates, right?
Right. What's the interest rate?
So well, it depends on a whole bunch of stuff. But interest rates right now, I would say, are in the, low
7, 8?
sevens.
Okay.
Low sevens. Yeah, they got up to almost 8, but we're doing a little better now. So.
Okay. And
So to address the part that I was saying, new development, because they're having a hard time selling at the 7-8% interest rate, it's a good time for people that's buying to go look into a new development because they give you better incentive.
right.
They paying for buy down
down,
rates, and sometimes they say, I'm gonna landscape this, or I'm gonna give you this appliance, or I'll pay you HOA for 5 years.
Yeah.
So you still have incentive that makes you go there, because you go buy a regular outside the new development, then you're paying the regular interest rate. You're lucky to get the appliances with it.
Right.
And then you're stuck with whatever the home is.
Right.
She's right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right now, what I mean is she's right. Is there's benefits to both ways, right?
Yeah.
When you buy a new build, you are buying at the top of that price range of what the house is going to be worth, because it is what the max price.
Yeah.
And those incentives are added to the purchase price, so it takes a little longer to gain equity in a new build. But the benefits, like she said, are lower monthly payment.
Yeah.
What do you? She gave us a whole bunch of knowledge before, talking about even when you have a new build out.
Right.
If you buy in the first phase.
Right.
And by the time that the first phase is done and you're going into the transition to the second phase,
right,
you've gained equity.
So that's what people think.
It's not think. I experienced it hand on. I bought 4 properties.
But did you sell them?
No.
Did you refinance them in that
No.
time frame? Okay. So what happens is, let's say you have
The
this.
equity's still in them, but I'm about to get creative with that. So, Mr. So I spoke to a lender yesterday, because I like creative lenders.
Okay.
I'm a person that don't know how to think inside the box. I'm an outside the box.
That's what
person.
we do. Yeah.
So I spoke to many lenders, and I've dealt with many lenders. I bought properties through lenders.
Right.
But they not outside the box. And I spoke to this gentleman the other day, and I was like, goodness, where have you been? He's outside the box.
Right.
And because I've spoken to somebody about, I want to buy property. I don't want to take the equity and just get another loan and pay high interest. But I would like to use my property as a collateral to down payment for another property.
Okay.
Not too many people know about that. And he's like, oh, I know about that. I'm like, well, snap. I don't want to take an equity out. I just want to go buy another property with that equity. So to answer your question, no, I didn't want to take the equity out because for what? I don't have anything to do. I still had enough cash to go buy another property, but really,
Is he doing a bridge loan for you?
we haven't gone into the details yet, but
Okay.
it wasn't. I don't think it's a bridge.
Is it a home equity line of credit?
Possibly,
Okay.
like almost like a line of credit,
Line
or
of
possibly a
equity.
HELOC or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's what we talked
Yeah.
about with one of your boys.
And I like to add, me and Kevin, we hang out outside the box all the time.
Well, I like that kind of team.
Yeah, so no, we specialize in all the different products. So like what you're talking about outside the box, or I guess what you mean is just people thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I don't want to qualify for taking my money, right? You call in and you say, hey, I want to buy a property there. Okay, well, how much cash do you have? They don't ask you, well, what properties do you own?
Exactly.
And look at all of the options. That's
Yes.
something that we
Or
specialize
even
in.
like now we have the DSCR loan.
Yeah.
We love
How
we
many-
love that product. We talk
talk
about
about
that
that all the
product every
time.
other show.
But here's the thing. I talked to one lender about that product, and he was like, "Oh, well, you gotta put this much down, and then you gotta that property has to appraise for rental at a certain price, because otherwise you can't buy you have to put more money down." So I'm like, okay, like what?
So what we got to do?
What? Like, I felt like it was more on the negative
Right,
than the
right.
positive.
Right.
Versus, I spoke to this person. He said, "Oh yeah, but if we can't do
We'll figure it out.
DSR, why waste all your cash on one property for DSR just to qualify this? We can do this,
Yeah.
or we can do that. But if push comes to shove,
We could do.
Right.
and we gotta do here." Then yeah, you just put in a little extra, and you get you get it to come right. $1 above is all you need. Then you make it happen, and you get on a whatever they call them, a real estate appraiser that can go and search the market to make sure that this property can rent for that amount, or you put more money down till the market, so it's doable.
Yeah.
You know what I
Or,
mean?
or you just you take our no ratio product, which means that it doesn't have to appraise for anywhere. It doesn't have to make sense.
Exactly.
We still have that product too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a new product? That's,
Yeah, it's no ratio. It means that it doesn't matter what the rent is.
Oh,
Even
really?
if it's like not going to ratio.
it's no ratio.
Yeah, no ratio. It's like,
yeah.
if it's not like 1-to-1 or making less rate, basically they just ignore it. And then of course that's higher rate and higher down payment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess what you're saying is just having somebody that's competent to go through all the options for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of giving you one lane and saying, okay, well,
Yeah.
it's not going to work. I got to go. You know?
Yeah. So that's the reason why earlier I mentioned how much is creativity goes into doing business, and and I found that in myself that in business you got to get really creative in order to make things happen, and so my creative brain has also fueled my business brain as well, and then
But you have to have the mentality that there is many ways to skin the cat. That's literally. So when someone's trying to box me, then I'm like, you're not the person for me,
right, absolutely,
because you're not flowing with my energy.
yeah.
And I believe energy transfers. So if your energy is not flowing with mine, then I'm not gonna succeed. I need you to think outside the box. I don't need you to box me in. If I want to be boxed in, I'll become a criminal and be boxed. I want to be outside thinking, okay, if you can't make this happen for me, what's plan B?
Right, exactly.
And C and D.
And C
Right.
and D and
We all need to sit down and talk, because I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I want to buy some property.
Yeah.
So
What's plan B? And I'm about to do a deal. I'm about to buy a condo in what's that condominium right behind Dre's, Meridian.
Meridian, yeah.
Yeah.
Meridian, yeah. I used to
And
live
I'm
there.
doing
I love that
something,
place.
creative. I'm actually doing something to help a friend. He's been living there for 5-8 years, and he doesn't want to move out of there. And his credit is not good to buy, so I'm buying the place.
Okay.
And he's gonna rent it, and then he's gonna buy
Right.
it back from me in 3 years when he's,
Right.
he's gonna do it like a lease with an option to buy it.
Yeah.
how many properties do you have? Because I remember you
5.
have even out of
Well, I had
state.
6.
Did
I
you sell
sold
the
one.
other ones? Okay.
Yeah, I had 6, and then I sold one, and then I did a fix and flip. So I'm down to 5 now,
And you about to be back at 6
pretty much.
with about
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
I'll be
to
back
work
at
it.
6, but actually always looking for deals. Like
Right.
if somebody, I didn't go searching for this one. Oddly enough, I actually had a different deal that came to the table. So while I was becoming the lender, the person said, "Hey, I need 150K to finish this project." I said I could probably pull in 100, but if I can, I might pull the 150. But if I pull 100, what do I get? He said, "I'll give you 20% within 3 to 6 months."
And this is the seller?
I said, "Is this
Oh.
20% on the 100 or 20% of what the house is going to sell for?" He said, "What the house is going to sell for." Okay, I kind of like this number. I said, "Okay, I like the deal, but let me do my math and my own research and make sure, what you just told me is going to work for me," which means I needed to make sure that he's in his mind, this house is going to sell for $2 million when it's done. For me, I'm looking, I'm like, this is a house with 1 acre. You're about to split the acre. You've already taken the value out of the house. Yes, you're increasing the size of the property, but you're taking the land that's making it by building another house and thinking that it's going to sell for $2 million. But that house is not going to have its own street entrance. It's going to have entrance through the side of the other house. That takes away from the value. But I'm like, who am I? I'm just a student of life. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
So let me call somebody that knows a little bit about real estate
Right.
too. So I call this, real estate attorney.
Yeah.
And I'm like, da-da-da-da. He's like, "It's a great deal, Iman, but let me ask you this, is this house going to have street entrance?" I said, "No, that's the same thing I said." And he's like, "And they're splitting the acre into half and half. So technically, one house will have half an acre, but the other house, they building on that half. So it's only going to have a quarter of an acre." I said exactly what I said. He said, "So in my professional opinion, that house is not going to sell for $2 million.
Right.
So you will get commission, you will get your 20%, but it will not be on a $2 million. It might sell for 1.5, maybe 1.4. I said, "Okay, well, I don't know if I want to tie up my money for that long for just that."
Right.
And he's like, "I'm just curious, what made you be interested in this deal?" I said, I'm a human being. I like my money making money for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have a property to buy in mind right now that I feel is going to bring me the kind of money I want on this dollar amount. And he said, "Oh, well, shit, I got to, whoops, sorry."
No, you can fucking cuss on here. It's Vegas Life, baby.
Vegas Life.
You-
He said, I got a deal for you."
Oh, okay.
I said, "Okay, what's the deal?" He's like, "I want to,
Yeah.
this is the deal." And I said, "Okay, how much are you going to pay me?" He said, "I'll give you 15%. I said, "On the purchase price or the actual money I'm lending? Because we got to make sure."
Yeah.
And he said, "No, on the purchase price." I said, "Yeah, that's a good deal for me."
Okay. So those deals were presented to you, right? So you're not. How? What's the ratio of deals? And I know we got to go too because we kind of went over. But what's the ratio of the deals that you're finding yourself now, or that are presented to you?
Quite a bit, because I'm out online. I'm on
So you're
other
actively,
realtors.
yeah.
I just met 2
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
So I'm always connecting. So sometimes people just text me, "Hey, Iman, I got this deal XYZ. You're interested? Well, send me the numbers, or send me the property, or whatever whatever the deal is. Whether it's an investment, like being an cash advisor, like a funder, or here there's this property and this person is trying to get out of it and they're selling it for this price, but it's worth this much." So I get a lot of deals. I'm always open,
Okay.
for deals. I don't close myself for anything. Whatever you bring to the table, I'll look at it. If it makes sense, then it makes dollars.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, one more question. Well, unless you guys got a question, because I got one more question before
No,
I
we
get
good.
out of here. So, like, I always ask this to every successful people that I encounter. What is your day-to-day like?
I wish I can say that it's the same or it's this. My day sometimes can be full of grind all day, and it could be all over the map. I could be at home one minute, and next minute I'm going out looking at a property, or I'm dealing with an event, or I'm showing a customer a venue that they might be interested in doing an event at. it's never the same. And some days I'm just at home on the computer the whole day.
Yeah.
From day to night. So your day, when you're an entrepreneur, your day, and you're doing multiple things, and you're still researching other businesses, like online businesses, other than the real estate, online businesses, other opportunities, to grow, trying to, do the same with your kid, because my daughter is an entrepreneur as well. Yeah. So, trying to, or you might get a stock market tip.
Yeah.
So,
Start researching.
It's really nothing the same. Some days I have to tell myself, you know what? You need to go on a shutdown.
Right.
You know, someone sent me a TikTok and we were laughing because I'm always saying, like, when I try to go to sleep, my mind is like,
absolutely.
Like this, like this, all over the place.
That's why I do the weed.
Yeah, calm you down. Yeah.
Well,
well, thank you so much. We tend to always go over the time just because we just get wrapped up in our conversation, especially when we talk real estate. We're just going all the way in.
When you're passionate about something, it's easy to roll with it.
Yeah. So before we leave, tell everybody where they can find you and how they can contact you, and just one last time about the stuff that you got going on.
Well, if you want to be booked for an event, wedding, divorce party, whatever it is, just call 702-743-1170, and my name is Iman Aubrey. Okay.
John Maurice, anything? Same deal.
Yeah, we partnering together with a lot of things. We've been friends for a long time and just trying to make things happen. You can check out my website, IamJohnMaurice.com. Check out my book that's coming, and we're working on a lot of other things. So we're trying to make it happen.
One more thing. If you do have a real estate deal, then definitely give me a call.
Oh, yeah. I got you. I'm going to get your number.
Yeah.
I got deals.
I'm going to learn from you. I got some money coming. I want to put that in, get a house. We think outside the box, but I definitely want to, within the next, I'd say 6 years, I'm going to give myself, I'd like to have, in 10 years, I want to have 5 properties. So in 6 years, if I could have maybe 2 or 3 starting to generate some more income, that would be great.
Yeah. And the key is not to keep saying, I'm going to, but more like, what do I need to do to get this started?
Yeah, we do. I'm literally waiting. I'm like 5 weeks away from getting my cash back. So I'm just like, I'm trying to work the deal with the book and, get it marketed and all that other stuff. So 5 weeks. We're gonna have a different conversation.
Yeah, remember the phrase, 2 hands clap better than one.
Oh, What if you have 4 hands? It's just be crazy. Kevin, do you have anything before we get up out of here?
Sounds like we're gonna be doing business.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're definitely doing business.
Well, I have something. If anybody's looking to buy or sell real estate, hi, I'm Chris Cash, your go-to realtor. So holla at me, 702-505-3297. Message me.
I forgot about that.
If you need the outside of the box lending, call me 702-832-5704.
And that's Kevin
Repeat
Sherber.
the number. That was way too fast.
702-832-5704.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's Kevin Sherber, a 20-year mortgage professional here at GFL Capital Mortgage,
who will get you the property that you need and think outside the box. And last but not least, with I Am John Maurice, but also if you need a ride and you need to have excellent service, call at ease for all your driving needs. That's 725-200-9480. We'll take care of you, take you anywhere you want to go, whether it's LA, Arizona, or any place in the Vegas lifestyle. We're gonna get you there the way you want to.
Hey, and if you love great music, make sure you check out Chris Cash and John Maurice. New music coming on Spotify, YouTube, and all platforms.
By the next podcast, we're gonna have definitely a new track. And if you need somebody to write a hook for you or sing a hook, give me a call because we do it all.
And if you need social media services and media services.
Call my wife. Octo Design. She got a master's in marketing. Everything that you see.
To write you a song, hey.
Everything that you see with johnmaurice.com or websites, Tiger Network, that's all my wife.
And if you just need somewhere to talk to, a friend, we could talk about, positive stuff or anything that you're going through,
Call us.
We're here.
Yeah, true.
All
of us, anybody.
And one last thing.
For you young ladies out there that feel that you're stuck, if you're a woman and you feel that you're stuck, and even if you're a man,
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
tend to live in a culture
Yeah.
where it's man empowered. So don't ever feel like you're alone,
Oh, yeah.
and don't ever feel that you can't elevate, because the
Yeah.
God that lives in you is greater than the one's trying to take over you.
Amen.
So
Amen.
702-743-1170. You can always call me for advice.
Yeah.
We do advice. Check out the book. If you change your mind, you can change your life. And my wife has 4-paw lovers. If you guys need your dogs walked, if you need to have your dog stayed overnight, we do all of that. Take the dogs out. We treat them with love. We're 4-paw lovers.
This is how you know you're in a podcast with entrepreneurs. That's how you know.
We got
Hey,
several businesses.
Forgot any business there?
And if you're just a man, you're having troubles, with your wife and all kinds of stuff too, I feel you.
Yeah, give me a call. I'll teach you how to do massage. We do some special things,
And if you're a single man out there that has your stuff together and you're mentally and emotionally and financially secure, then definitely call me.
Call, yeah. We host some parties too. So if you want the Vegas lifestyle party, definitely give her a call. She throw them, I host them.
Yeah.
We're gonna make some things happen
Yeah.
in 2024.
Oh my God.
We want more.
That was great. That was great. Vegas Live Podcast. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah,
And we're out.
always.
We're out.
Love and happiness.
Yeah, we